Do you remember when you were in college? Remember how smart you thought you were, how you thought you had it all figured out? And then you realized just how ignorant you were? The world slapped you in the face with a reality check and you had to learn your place and how to operate in it? Okay, now remove all of that last part. None of that other stuff happened. You're just an ignorant college student who's never lived in the real world. And now you're a congresswoman. Hey, Gavin McInnes is in third chair.
Hello!
DefendGavin.com is where people go right now to defend you from the SPLC, right?
Yes, to help me fight.
And they can give you some money, right?
The best offense is a good defense, and a good defense means muchos dineros.
Is that what it means?
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about the Green New Deal. Hold your thoughts. Before we get to it, okay, question of the day. What part of Cortez is Alexandria? Is it Alexandria, Nina, Pinta, Santa Maria?
Yeah, you gotta get it. Yeah.
What part of Cortez's Green New Deal is your favorite? Was it the eliminating air travel, the farting cows, the complete lack of self-awareness, and drafting a bill whose language was found once upon a time exclusively in the limitations of an insane person? Let me know. I have mine. We'll go through all of it.
I vote yes on all of it.
Let's go context first. Everyone's been talking about the Green New Deal. I think you've talked about it quite a bit, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah. I think it's the best thing for Trump that ever existed.
That and, unfortunately, the 40-week abortion. They turned abortion into a winning issue, but now they've turned energy into a winning issue.
Let's stand back. Let's take some time off and just let them destroy themselves.
It's true. One thing I will say, unfortunately, there's been a lot of fake news surrounding it, and there's been some real news that the supposedly real news claims is fake news, but then they admit that it's real news. If it sounds confusing, it's because there's no real news. So I'm going to do my best to try and separate fact from fiction. I would say there are four main takeaways from the Green New Deal. The first takeaway is the new insanity baseline of the left. The first thing everyone noticed was that the bill is terrible. Yeah. But it also reads as if written by a crazy person, maybe because it was spearheaded by this crazy person.
The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is... Your biggest issue is... how are we going to pay for it? And, this is the war. This is our World War II.
Okay, listen.
Whoa.
Do we still have to pretend like she sounds intelligent? Do we have to?
No.
Do we have
Please
to
no.
continue this facade? I don't like Nancy Pelosi. I don't like Hillary Clinton. They don't sound borderline retarded as she does.
Why is paying for it an irrelevant detail?
I know.
Okay, say the world is going to end. How are we going to pay for it? That's a really big detail.
It seems as though that's something they wouldn't gloss over in Armageddon.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you can't pay for it, guess what? The world's going to end, and it sucks.
By the way, according to its own FAQ summary, the Green New Deal called for every single building in America to be rebuilt, high-speed railroads to replace air travel, eliminate actual cow farts. Put that in quotes because it's real. This isn't air quotes. I don't know if you can use air quotes for real quotes. It wanted to provide a living wage job to everyone willing to work. But more importantly, provide a basic income to everyone unwilling to work.
Oh, dear God.
And what's important about this is because people talk about fake news, and there was a lot of fake news surrounding this story.
There was, yeah.
When called on these facts, Cortez and the friends, they claimed fake news, of course. Then they just said, well, the wrong draft had been uploaded. And we'll get to more of that later. So the horrors of the disorganized rollout are surpassed only by the ridiculous demands in the actual bill. It's as extreme as it gets. That thing people need to note that, and I would encourage you all to go read it. But who endorsed it? Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, Kristen Gillibrand, Elizabeth Warren. Anyone else I'm missing? Pretty much everyone in the DNC.
Yeah, everybody's going to run for president.
Potentially, yes, exactly. Potentially your next commander.
Put my name in there.
Cory Booker, too. Again, we're talking about letting the left destroy themselves. Cory Booker went on this rant comparing the Green New Deal to fighting Nazis and landing on the moon or something. Here you go.
Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, it's all of this. If we used to govern our dreams that way, we would have never gone to the moon.
Is that why they hate the wall?
Who came forward
They say the wall's too expensive.
from the scourge of Nazis, totalitarian regimes? We came forward.
I really can't follow him. He goes to the moon and Nazis. I don't know.
I don't know what they're trying to do
Cory
here.
Booker is my least favorite white person in America.
Yes.
He makes me feel racist towards white
Followed
people.
closely by his good friend T-Pain.
Yeah.
Was it T-Pain or T-Bone?
T-Bone.
Right?
T-Bone.
Yeah, I'm T-Bone.
The funniest thing...
Maybe we should call you T-Bone.
T-Bone!
Yeah.
Vice President T-Bone.
By the way, hit the notification bell if you haven't joined Mug Club, loudskyder.com/mugclub, because apparently subscriptions don't mean anything on YouTube anymore. So notification bell, Mug Club, of course, subscribe on iTunes so you can listen to the audio version. I think another takeaway that's really important is this highlights the left's true agenda, which is socialism. The Green New Deal is really not about the climate. It's about socialism. The premise of the bill is that it somehow benefits the environment. But something people have been missing is that it conveniently involves a tippy-toe toward the government effectively seizing private property and then rebuilding it. Temporarily. They're going to give it back.
Oh, of course. They're trustworthy.
Yes. This is. I don't know why not more people have been. And now I sound like Cortez. I don't know why so few people have been discussing this. It requires dramatically increased government control of almost every industry from the top down. Think of it. Transportation, farming, you name it, government controls it. Cortez admits, by the way, the private sector can't fund everything proposed. She even admits that the tax the billionaire solution will not work for this. That's something that's important to note. They say, oh, you care more about the money. Okay, well, where are you going to get the money? This is really the main problem, I think, that people need to note. Everyone else who's not a climate change activist that we have with climate change activists. It's not really about science. It's about advancing socialism. Now, of course, there are tons of... Everyone out there can acknowledge climate change to some degree, of course. But people like Cortez and Bernie and the progressive left, they're not arguing about the science or even about whether the government could fix the problem. They're just huddled up asking how much government control is needed to alter your personal life and the environment destroying habits. They're not even at the point with, well, hold on a second. How far are we in the scientific trail? And how much do we think the government could actually do? This is accepted. The only person who can solve this problem is the United States government. Just how far do we want to go? And that, to me, is a very scary thought.
That's what we did.
Hyperbole here replaces science. Because the ends justify the means. That's what you're saying right now with the climate change alarmists. So, in case you've forgotten, by the way, here's Cortez claiming that the world would end in 12 years because of climate. I know you might have forgotten.
The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is...
Oh, that's enough. We don't need to watch the rest of that clip. I think takeaway 3 is the depth of the left's deception right now. Despite, of course, being endorsed by all the top-level Democrats. How many? Pretty much all of them. Green New Deal rightfully drew a ton of criticism. The bill was so trash that Cortez, sorry, I have to make sure I get it right. I love how all of these
pronunciation.
Brian Williams, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
She's from Nicaragua.
They removed the FAQ document, by the way, from the website. And they tried to gaslight everyone into thinking that they never pushed any of these crazy agendas. This happened on Tucker Carlson. Her policy advisor claimed the line about the unwilling to work was something Cortez would have never written and that Tucker was looking at a doctored version. This, by the way, is a video that Cortez retweeted herself. Ooh. Yeah, relevant.
Do we ever pay people who are, quote, unwilling to work?
We never would, right? And AOC has never said anything like that, right? I think you're referring to some sort of document that some doctored document that somebody other than us has been circulating.
Except she did, and you would, and it's in your document. By the way, that specific line is still available in the archived version. I believe on her website. You can go check it out right now.
She also picked like the least credible guy that you could possibly pick to defend her on there.
Yeah,
by
what
the way,
does Lindsey Buckingham know about the New Deal?
I thought it was Sideshow Bob.
If that is not a toupee, he is working really hard to trick us. And this is so important too. Cortez pushed lies about the bill continually, claiming the document had been doctored by Republicans, then pivoting and saying there was a draft that was accidentally leaked. Here's the problem, okay? She released the FAQ herself, answered questions about it all day. NPR even ran an article. It was almost like an Ask Me Anything. She didn't realize the FAQ was an accident, and she didn't remove it from her site until everyone who is not a DNC candidate or official took a steaming, corn-infested shit on this. And by the way, the metadata for the PDF shows that it was created and posted by Cortez's chief of staff. So she can't even claim that she didn't know what was going on. So this means one of two things. Okay, either A, Cortez and her equally googly staff are far too disorganized to be in any position of government authority, or B, Cortez and her staff knowingly pushed lies, which, given the continual nature of the FAQ, seems much more likely.
Yeah, see, all of the above.
It wasn't like once, I wish I could pull that back. It's, let me answer, unwilling to work. Yes. Cow farts. Let me put in, this is a good idea. I feel good about these choices. I'm going to keep making them. What? Why am I talking?
Yeah, exactly.
The fourth and final takeaway is when you shine a light on the left, I think you see this from this bill here, they scurry. They retreat. Mitch McConnell announced Tuesday they would call for a Senate vote on the Green New Deal.
Brilliant.
They freaked. Democrats completely freaked. Senator Markey, co-author, by the way, of the Green New Deal, called the vote sabotage.
Yes.
I don't know how that works. If the Senate refused to vote, wouldn't Republicans be accused of obstruction?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, they would be accused of obstruction. Let's be honest. Not could they be. That's exactly how it would happen. The Democrats will have to admit right now that they are the party of complete socialism. It used to be veiled. Remember when they used to say, well, when you're saying socialist, you really want to say the N-word. Remember for Obama, they're like, so it's a synonym. It's just racism, and you use socialist as a dog whistle. You want to apply that to Bernie? You want to apply it to Booker, Warren, to Cortez? At what point do you go, no, listen, you're just actual socialists. Also, by the way, in case you missed it, there are people shitting in our streets nonstop. We can't fix it. We're just going to create an app that lets you know where they're continually in the streets. Have you seen that app?
It's going to be pooper.
Yeah, I have.
It's unbelievable.
Well, hotels have maps now that have this bum areas, and bum used to mean homeless man. Now it actually means a person's buttocks. The bum areas of San Francisco completely blacked out, because if you go there, you will be like Katie Hopkins was, skating on fecal matter.
Oh my
like you slip and slide like you're on a hockey rink.
Yeah. Here's the deal. There were some false memes out there. I think that's important to note. And there was some fake news pushed regarding the Green New Deal, which is a shame because the truth is enough. Read the bill, read the archived FAQ for yourself. Let me know what you think. This bill, in and of itself, without any embellishment, exposed the actual agenda of today's left. By the way, where are the valiant media fact checkers? Cortez and her senior officials just claim lies, fake news, and no one calls them on it? No one, more importantly, the fact that Cortez is now the face of the DNC for many people and that the media just goes along with it is alarming to the nth degree. Let me paint a picture for you. This is why I think a lot of people on the right can't stand Cortez and a lot of people on the left love her, but they can't articulate it. Think back right now. Do you remember when you were in college? Okay? Remember how smart you thought you were, how you thought you had it all figured out? Then remember when you had your first real-time job in the real world, full-time job? Maybe when you got engaged, married, maybe you had some kids. And then you realize just how ignorant you were. The world slapped you in the face with a reality check and you had to learn your place and how to operate in it. Okay, now remove all of that last part. None of that other stuff happened. You're just an ignorant college student who's never lived in the real world. And now you're a congresswoman. Spending other people's money. That's how this bill gets made. That's who Cortez is. And that's who could be in line for the presidency of your country. Okay, if you like this video, you watch videos on YouTube. If I were Jimmy Kimmel, if I were Stephen Colbert, or Trevor Noah, I would tell you to subscribe. But I have no corporate overlords who demand that I do this demeaning promo. I do the demeaning promo because I choose to. Subscribe or hit the notification bell because I need you. I need you. Please do it.